Good morning. Now, I thought I'd come on here because things are a little bit weird at the moment. I'm doing my work at home, you're doing your learning at home. So I thought we'd come on here and we'd have a story that we could read together. So I've chosen today The Enormous Crocodile by Roald Dahl, okay? And it's illustrated by Quentin Blake. So an illustrator is the person that designs and draws all the pictures for the story, okay? So I want you to get yourself nice and comfy, put your listening ears on, and make sure you pay close attention to the story. Okay. When you're ready, we'll start. Okay. In the biggest, brownest, muddiest river in Africa, 2 crocodiles lay with their heads just above the water. One of the crocodiles was enormous. The other was not so big. "Do you know what I would like for my lunch today?" said the enormous crocodile. "No," the not so big one asked. "What?" The enormous crocodile grinned, showing hundreds of sharp teeth. "For my lunch today," he said, "I would like a nice, juicy little child." "I never eat children," the not so big one said. "Only fish." "Ho ho ho," cried the enormous crocodile. "I'll bet if you saw a fat, juicy little child paddling in the water over there at this very moment, you'd gulp him up in one gollop." "No, I wouldn't," the not so big one said. "Children are too tough and chewy." "They are tough and chewy and nasty and bitter." "Tough and chewy," said the enormous crocodile. "Nasty and bitter? What awful tommy rot you talk. They are juicy and yummy." "They taste so bitter," the not so big one said, "you'd have to cover them with sugar before you eat them." "Children are bigger than fish," said the enormous crocodile. "You get bigger helpings." "You are greedy," the not so big one said. "You're the greediest croc in the whole river." "I'm the bravest croc in the whole river," said the enormous crocodile. "I'm the only one who dares to leave the water and go through the jungle to the town to look for children to eat." "You've only done that once," snorted the not so big one. "And what happened then?" "They all saw you coming and ran away." "Ah, but today when I go, they won't see me at all," said the enormous crocodile. "Of course they'll see you," said the not so big one. "You're so enormous and ugly, they'll see you from miles away." The enormous crocodile grinned again, and his terrible sharp teeth sparkled like knives in the sun. "Nobody will see me," he said, "because this time I've thought up secret plans and clever tricks." "Clever tricks?" cried the not so big one. "You've never done anything so clever in your life. You're the stupidest croc on the whole river." "I'm the cleverest croc on the whole river," said the enormous crocodile. "For my lunch today, I shall feast upon a fat, juicy little child while you lie here in the river feeling hungry. Goodbye." The enormous crocodile swam to the side of the river and crawled out of the water. A gigantic creature was standing in the slimy, oozy mud on the riverbank. It was Humpy Rumpy, the hippopotamus. "Hello, hello," said Humpy Rumpy. "What on earth are you doing off at this time of day?" "I have secret plans and clever tricks," said the crocodile. "Oh dear," said Humpy Rumpy. "Where on earth?" "I bet you're going to do something horrid," he said. The enormous crocodile grinned at Humpy Rumpy and said, "I'm going to fill my hungry, empty tummy with something yummy, 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 yummy." "What's so yummy?" said Humpy Rumpy. "Try to guess," said the crocodile. "It's something that walks on 2 legs." "You don't mean," said Humpy Rumpy, "you don't mean you're really going to eat a little child?" "Of course I am," said the crocodile. "Oh, you horrid, greedy, grumptious brute," cried Humpy Rumpy. "I hope you get caught and cooked and turned into crocodile soup." The enormous crocodile laughed out loud at Humpy Rumpy. Then he waddled off into the jungle. Inside the jungle, he met Trunky the elephant. Trunky was nibbling leaves from the top of a tall tree, and he didn't notice the crocodile at first. So the crocodile bit him on the leg. "Oh!" said Trunky in a big, deep voice. "Who did that?" "Oh, it's you, you beastly crocodile. Why don't you go back to the big, brown, muddy river where you belong?" "I have secret plans and clever tricks," said the crocodile. "You mean you've got nasty plans and nasty tricks," said Trunky. "You've never done a nice thing in your life." The enormous crocodile grinned at Trunky and said, "I'm off to find a yummy child for lunch. Keep listening and you'll hear the bones go crunch." "Oh, you wicked beastly beast," cried Trunky. "Oh, you foul and filthy fiend. I hope you get squashed and squished and squizzled and boiled up into crocodile stew." The enormous crocodile laughed out loud and disappeared into the thick jungle. A bit further on, he met Mugglewump, the monkey. Mugglewump was sitting in a tree eating nuts. "Hello, Crocky," said Mugglewump. "What are you up to now?" "I have secret plans and clever tricks," said the crocodile. Would you like some nuts?" said Mugglewump. "I have better things to eat than nuts," said the crocodile. "I didn't think there was anything better than nuts," said Mugglewump. "Aha," said the enormous crocodile. "The sort of things that I'm going to eat have fingers, toenails, arms, legs and feet." Mugglewump went pale and began to shake all over. "You aren't really going to gobble up a little child, are you?" he said. "Of course I am," said the crocodile. "Clothes and all. They taste better with the clothes on." "Oh, you horrid, hoggish croc," cried Mugglewump. "You slimy creature. I hope the buttons and buckles all stick in your throat and choke you to death." The crocodile grinned at Mugglewump and said, "I eat monkeys too." And quick as a flash, one bite of his huge jaws, he bit through the tree that Mugglewump was sitting in, and down it came. But just in time, Mugglewump jumped onto the next tree and swung away through the branches. A bit further on, the enormous crocodile met the roly-poly bird. The roly-poly bird was building a nest in an orange tree. "Hello there, enormous crocodile," sang the roly-poly bird. "We don't often see you up here in the jungle." "Ah," said the crocodile, "I've got secret plans and clever tricks." "I hope it's not something nasty," sang the roly-poly bird. "Nasty?" cried the crocodile. "Of course it's not nasty. It's delicious. It's luscious, it's super, it's muscious, it's duper. It's better than rotten old fish. You mash it and munch it and chew it and crunch it. It's lovely to hear it go squish." "It must be berries," sang the roly-poly bird. "Berries are my favourite food in the world. Is it raspberries, perhaps? Or could it be strawberries?" The enormous crocodile laughed so much his teeth rattled together like pennies in a money box. "Crocodiles don't eat berries," he said. "We eat little boys and girls, and sometimes we eat roly-poly birds as well." Very quickly, the crocodile reached up and snapped his jaws at the roly-poly bird. He just missed the bird, but he managed to catch hold of the long, beautiful feathers in its tail. The roly-poly bird gave a shriek of terror and shot straight up into the air, leaving its tail feathers behind in the enormous crocodile's mouth. At last, the enormous crocodile came out of the other side of the jungle into the sunshine. He could see the town not far away. "Ho ho," he said, thinking aloud to himself. "Aha, that walk through the jungle has made me hungrier than ever. One child isn't going to be nearly enough for me today. I won't be full up until I've eaten at least 3 juicy little children." And he started to creep forward towards the town. The enormous crocodile crept over to a place where there were a lot of coconut trees. He knew that children from the town often came here looking for coconuts. The trees were too tall for them to climb, but there were always some coconuts on the ground that had fallen down. The enormous crocodile quickly collected all the coconuts that were lying on the ground. He also gathered together a few fallen branches. "Now for clever trick number 1, he whispered to himself. "It won't be long before I'm eating the first part of my lunch." He took all the coconut branches and held them between his teeth. He grasped the coconuts in his front paws, then stood straight up in the air, balancing himself on his tail. He arranged the branches and the coconuts so cleverly that he now looked exactly like a small coconut tree standing amongst the big coconut trees. And we're going to pause the story there. So what I want you to do now is I want you to have a think about what you think is going to happen to the enormous crocodile in the next part of the story. Do you think he's going to manage to eat the children, or do you think that something might stop him? Okay, so have a think, maybe even write down a prediction, what you think might happen next, and then come back for the next part of the story, part 2, in our next video. Okay, see you soon.